He called her names, mocked her skin, laughed when she flinched, but when she found him crying in the hallway, bruised, broken, and begging her for one last thing before he was expelled, she realized the real punishment wasn't his. It was hers. Crestwood High looked perfect on paper. Clean halls, smiling staff, glossy posters about kindness and diversity. But behind those walls, respect had a hierarchy, and Danielle Morris was near the bottom. At 26, she was the youngest teacher on campus. Smart, poised, black, and that was enough for some students and teachers to test her boundaries. They called her too emotional, too serious, too different. She ignored it. She'd fought harder battles before. Single mother's daughter, first to graduate, now teaching literature in a district that didn't think girls like her belonged there. But one student turned every day into a quiet. Tyler Reeves Tyler was the kind of boy who got away with everything. Perfect hair, rich parents, athletic build, that smug grin teachers secretly hated. But under the charm was poison. He called Danielle Miss Attitude, imitated her voice in front of the class, made jokes about affirmative action when she handed out essays. When she'd tell him to stop, he'd just smile. "Relax, miss, it's just words." Words, the thing she'd built her life around, now used as a weapon against her. Every insult chipped away at her faith in her students, but she kept her composure, always professional, always calm, until the day he crossed a line he couldn't uncross. It was the last week of the semester. The air was thick with tension. Rumors spread fast. Tyler had gotten into a fight. Brutal. The other boy ended up in the nurse's office, face bloodied. When Danielle heard, she didn't believe it, until she saw Tyler sitting outside the principal's office, shirt torn, knuckles red, eyes hollow. He didn't look proud. He looked lost. Still, when she passed by, he muttered, "What are you staring at?" Her reply was quiet. Someone wasting their potential. He looked away. He didn't know it yet, but that would be their last conversation before the truth surfaced. That night, Danielle stayed late to grade essays. The halls were empty. As she packed up, her phone buzzed. A number she didn't recognize. It was the vice principal. "Miss Morris, you might want to come down to the gym. We found Tyler. He asked for you." Her heart froze. When she arrived, she saw him sitting alone on the bleachers, shoulders shaking. He wasn't the loud, arrogant kid she remembered. He was pale, eyes red, trembling. A half-empty bottle of something strong sat beside him. "Why'd you call me?" she asked quietly. "He didn't look up because you're the only one who ever told me the truth." His voice cracked. "They're expelling me tomorrow. My dad said I'm a disgrace. My mom's gone. My coach said I ruined my future." She said nothing. He looked at her, and for the first time his eyes weren't cruel. They were scared. "Do you think I'm a monster?" he asked. She hesitated. "I think you're a kid who forgot what it feels like to be kind." He laughed bitterly. "You make it sound easy. Kindness isn't easy," she said. "It's discipline." He nodded slowly, then pulled something from his jacket pocket. A folded paper, torn and crumpled. "My last essay," he said. "Didn't finish it. Didn't think you'd care." He handed it to her, voice shaking. "Just read it before I'm gone. That's all I'm asking." She sat beside him on the cold bleachers and unfolded the paper. The title read, "To the Teacher I Couldn't Respect." She began to read. It wasn't perfect. The grammar was messy, but the emotion, raw, unfiltered, painful, cut straight through her. He wrote about how he hated her confidence, how it made him feel small, how he wanted to tear her down because she reminded him of everything he'd lost. A mother who was proud, unbreakable, and never backed down, and how every cruel joke, every insult was really him trying to get her to notice him. Not as a student, but as someone who was breaking and didn't know how to ask for help. When she finished, She realized she was crying. He didn't look at her. "I know it's too late," he whispered. "I just needed someone to know who I really was before they kick me out." The hearing was brutal. Parents demanded his expulsion. The principal was firm. "We can't make exceptions, Miss Morris," but Danielle stood anyway. "I read his essay," she said. "It's not an excuse, but it's a confession, a cry for help. If we expel every student who makes a mistake before they learn from it, we don't need teachers. We need judges." The room went silent. The principal sighed. "You're asking us to trust a student who's done nothing but cause chaos." "I'm asking you," she said, voice trembling, "to believe he can be better, because I've seen who he is when no one's watching." After a long silence, the decision came: suspension, counseling, community service. No expulsion. When Tyler heard, he didn't cheer. He just stared at her, tears welling up. "You didn't have to do that," she replied quietly. "Yes, I did." Over the next few months, Tyler changed. Slowly, painfully, but noticeably. He showed up early, helped clean the classroom, wrote more, spoke less. He even apologized to the student he fought with. When graduation came, he didn't walk the stage. He watched from the crowd, but Danielle noticed him. And when their eyes met, he mouthed 2 words, "Thank you." 5 years passed. Danielle became a department head. Life moved fast. New students, new challenges. One afternoon, she received a letter in her school mailbox. No return address. Just one line on the front. "You said kindness is discipline." I learned that. Inside was a photo. Tyler, older, wearing a uniform with the words Youth Rehabilitation Program Instructor. The caption read, "Helping the kids no one wants to help, because someone once helped me." Danielle pressed the letter to her chest. She smiled through her tears. In a world that's quick to judge, Danielle didn't choose revenge. She chose understanding. And that choice turned a bully into a protector, because sometimes the loudest cries for help sound like disrespect, and the people we're meant to teach might just be the ones who teach us how to forgive. If this story moved you, share it, comment where you're watching from, and remember, real power isn't in anger. It's in mercy that never stops showing up.